magic and explore the most. Stories full of wonder, fantastical delights. Open your eyes and see the parade come to life. Sansy's parade, Sansy's parade. Join the parade, Sansy's parade, parade. Sansy's parade, Sansy's parade. Join the parade, Sansy's parade.
Mars reassurance. Barging into your room, Jupiter asks, "YN? Would you like to attend work with me?" Groggily waking up, your upper body is curled in Mars' embrace with your legs in the ground. Shifting slightly to look at Jupiter, Mars tightens his grip around you. "Not today, Pap, I have." It takes a second to remember what you have planned for today. Sitting up and stretching your arms, you break away from Mars' grip, much to his displeasure. Questing. You sign with a snap of your finger. Quickly getting out of the dirt, signing wildly, questing. Questing. Jupiter cheers alongside you, raising a fist to the sky. Questing. Mars says with a yawn, barely lifting his hand in the air. Have fun with your questing. I'm heading to work early to help with a new order. Thanks. What did she order? Curiosity piqued, since you're already doing a quest for her. Putting his hand to his chin, he looks up at the ceiling. I believe they are Jupiter's. WHO knew someone named a plant after me. Naya hey hey. Laughing, he runs down the stairs. You're pretty sure he meant juniper, but a Jupiter plant would be cool. Maybe a bush with tiny Jupiters on it, or a plant that looks like Jupiter. You're brought out of your thoughts by a hand tugging at your pajama pants. Looking down, Mars is drowsily tugging on your pant leg, sockets closed as he tries to coax you back to bed. Kneeling beside him, you try shaking his shoulders to wake him up, only to receive mumbles and a raspy whine in response. Bones rattling gently, from a silent sigh. Even though his sockets are closed, you sign, "Come on, get up. I'm going questing today," which means you're going questing today. He manages to wrap his arms around your waist as he hoists his head onto your lap. Mumbling little whines, "No. Safe. Home. Nope, today is a day for questing." You know Mars is afraid of you leaving the house, which you understand, but you will not be ruled by fear. Snoring loudly, he nuzzles further into your spinal cavity. Shoulders shagging, you shove your hands in his armpits and heft him up as you stand, resulting in a sleeping Mars hanging from your arms and dragging on the floor. Shuffling over to the bed, you unceremoniously toss him on your bed, only managing to get half his body on it before picking up his legs and shoving the rest of him onto the bed. All the while hearing Mars' concealed laughter as pretends to sleep. Turning away from him, you start stripping your pajamas, hearing a faint choking noise from behind. Continuing, your back is facing Mars, you clean off the dirt with Magier. He doesn't seem to be making a big deal out of your natural state, so maybe you can go on this adventure natural. Chancing a glance behind you, he's completely frozen. His entire skull is covered in a deep navy blue blush, his eye sockets wide. Despite his eyelight not being visible, you can feel his eyelight roaming your body. Deciding it would be better to wear clothes, but secretly swearing to get them used to natural skeletons, you get dressed. Putting on a loose-fitting sleeveless dress which stops just above the knees. Putting your bag on, the strap is positioned so crosses your body. Facing to Mars, he's still frozen. Shoulders bouncing slightly with laughter, you spray him with the Magier. Watching as his bones and clothes become much cleaner. His scent is fairly weak, but he smells of pine and snow with a hint of vanilla. You like it. With his eyelight back and face in mild confusion, you pick up the dazed and confused skeleton. He's a bit lighter than your standard skeleton, but it's still hard to carry him since you're the same height. You manage to do a decent job with a reverse piggyback ride, making sure to go extra slow on the stairs. In the kitchen there's a clean plate in the dish rack and a dirty plate in the sink, meaning dust has already eaten. You're a little disheartened by the lack of an aloof skeleton, but you're focusing on one skeleton at a time. And right now, that's the blushy mess of a skeleton in your arms. It looks like he can't decide if he wants to be embarrassed or sleep. Placing him down in a chair at the kitchen table, he holds on a bit before reluctantly letting go. Do you want to eat here or on the go? You ask as you get the plate Jupiter left out for him. Here. He mumbles under his breath. Quickly heating up his food, you set it on the table in front of him. Taking note of his pouty expression, you sit across from him. Go ahead and eat so we can head out. You sign happily, gently kicking your feet under the table. Why do you want to leave? He asks around a mouthful of food. Yesterday, Jupiter's boss assigned me a quest. She wants me to gather some mushrooms for her. Can't she do it herself? He asks, annoyance seeping into his voice. Pouting, she can, but part of the fun about fetch questing is exploring. Going to places you'd probably never visit or haven't even heard of before. She probably could, but it'll be fun. This is a fetch quest. It allows you explore places you probably didn't even know existed. Not to mention the fact that you might find something new along the way. You explain with excitement. He has a surprised yet disbelieving expression as he listens to your explanation. It just sounds like fancy terms for grocery shopping. Apparently, that is the wrong response as your aura dims and a visible anime vein pulsed in your aura. It just doesn't seem very fun to me. He tries to defend himself. Looking away with a pout. Well, a Rubik's Cube doesn't seem fun to me. His brow bone twitches as he pauses his eating. He doesn't love the Rubik's Cube, but he does enjoy playing with it. It's something simple that he can easily solve, and it helped keep his mind from drifting. He'd rather play with the cube than do someone else's grocery shopping. Ironic words from a provider for Snowden. Shoulders sagging, you look towards him. Look, questing to me is like puzzles to you. I get that it's not everyone's thing, and even a lot of mystic don't like fetch quest. Mainly because people try to take advantage of them by asking for absurd items, or they're located in vastly different areas, with little rewards to make the trouble worth it. But good and reasonable fetch quests can be fun and quite the experience. But I thought this was something fun that we could do together, especially since I want you to get into merchanting. He's silent, finishing off the rest of his breakfast. I'm going on this quest with or without you. You state matter-of-factly. Lolling his head back, he releases a long groan, staring at you with a bored expression before finally, fine. I'll come with. Clapping your hands together, you wrap him in a quick hug, before collecting the dishes. He sighs as he watches you bound towards the sink, happily rinsing off his dish before placing it in the sink. I don't know what I'm going to do with you. Standing in front of the house, you start stretching as Mars looks around tensely, silently praying that the tiny tyrant and his mutt don't come sniffing around. So, where do we start? He asks, glancing in the treetops. Turning to face him, no idea. He gives you a deadpan look, causing your bones to rattle with silent laughter. We should be able to find all of them on the mountain. I'm just not sure where on the mountain we'll find them. You hand him the sheet stating what you're looking for and the rewards you'll receive in return. By each name is a small picture of what the item looks like. Gravity Mushroom 01. Antidote Mushroom 02. Tree Shroom 03. Trampoline Mushroom 04. Red Spells Shroom 05. Underscore. Flash Seeds X1 pouch. Flower Cups X10. Bath Bombs X50. Rubies X200. Pointing at the list, we need to find these mushrooms, and then give it to her. She didn't give a time limit, so we can give it to her whenever, but the sooner the better, it's only polite. In return she'll give us these, circling the rewards. This is a pretty good deal for a simple fetch quest. The items are reasonable and in the nearby area, and the rewards are pretty good too. Nodding his head, he continues to stare at the list, trying to memorize as much as he can. He feels like he might have seen some of these around but can't quite remember. He gives back the list and you proceed to march off towards the tyrant's and Mutt's house. Grabbing you by the collar, he drags you in the opposite direction as you give a confused pout. Walking through the forest, you don't see anything that looks or feels magical. It's just a simple forest. You decide not to use the necklace, instead using this time to really explore parts of the mountain. The forest is a lot easier to travel when it's not filled with traps. Checking to see how Mars is doing. He doesn't seem like the most physically active skeleton. He seems confused. "What's up? Thought there were traps here," he states with confusion, his hand slowly reaching up to his right eye socket. "Oh, Jupiter removed a lot of them yesterday. You guess he didn't notice all the deconstruction Jupiter was doing yesterday." "What?" The shock is evident on his face as he tries to think back on yesterday. Wincing in pain as he tugs on his empty socket. Tilting your head to the side, the stuff he was moving was from deconstructing his traps. He said he felt guilty about his trap knocking my skull off. He thought I'd hate him for it, which is why he's been acting weird. Emotions flicker across his face, until it finally settles on frustration mixed with mild horror. He continues to tug on his socket as he quickly mumbles words you can't make out due how fast he's talking. Walking towards him, you feel a spark of magic and a wave of ill intent. If you get closer, he might hurt you on accident. So, you get closer. Gently placing your hands on either side of his skull, you rub soothing circles into his cheekbones. Resting your forehead against his, you release some of your magic in calming wave with reassuring intent. "Everything will be all right." Mars slowly begins to calm down, shoulders slumping and his breathing evens out. His hand slowly slips from his empty socket, to grab your left hand. He intertwines his fingers with yours as he leans into your touch, nuzzling your forehead. "I like becoming steady and focus once more." The two of you stay there until you feel him take a large inhale and moves back. "Sorry, just feels like I should have noticed," he whispers. "Mars, it only happened 3 days ago, and I know you were affected by it too. It's okay not to notice everything, that's why you have us. We talked everything out, I don't hate him, nor do I hold what happened against him, and he'll start rebuilding less deadly traps." This seems to help him a bit, but he's still skulking as he looks at the ground. "If it'll make you feel better, you can talk to Jupiter when we get back. It might do both of you some good," you suggest, with a reassuring aura. With a nod of your head, you grab his hand and begin walking through the forest once more. The two of you walk in comfortable silence until you accidentally step on fire. Looking down, you see small hoof footprints. Near the heel of each footprint is a small red flame, slowly extinguishing. "Fire doesn't hurt you?" Mars asks you as he observes you closely. "Not really, as long as there's no ill intent behind it," you explain, lifting your foot off the animal track. "Does it hurt you?" "No, depends on the intent. So, it's the same as you." Hearing a twig break further away, your aura brightens. "Let's catch a fire boar." "A fire boar?" "Yes," you sign excitedly, bouncing on the balls of your feet. A fire boar is a mystic pig that uses fire magic. I heard that they're supposed to be super delicious. The meat is supposed to be juicy and tender, while the fire magic gives the meat a unique smoky flavor. It's supposed to leave you full and warm afterwards. "You said supposed to a lot?" Mars pointed out, despite his mouth watering at the thought. Pouting, "Well yeah, I can't eat remember, but a lot people say it's delicious and I really want you geese to try it." Clasping your hands together, you give him a pleading aura. Chuckling at your antics, "Fine, what do we got to do?" "We need a plan to catch the beast." Following the tracks to a small clearing. There's a medium-sized fire boar munching on some grass and fire lilies. The boar's fur is black, with a rich orange and red fire mane. The mane starts from its head and flows down his back. The tip of his tail is made of fire, occasionally releasing tiny puffs of smoke. The tusks are made of molten rock. His hooves are gray, like burnt coal, leaving behind faint flames with each step. Mars summons a bone spear to kill the boar. Seeing him about to throw it, you quickly tackle him, causing his spear to dissipate against the ground. He looks annoyed before it quickly shifts to confusion. Holding your index finger to your teeth, "Don't do that, you'll ruin the meat." Glancing at the boar, to see if he noticed your existence. His ears are up at attention, flames higher with smoke wafting from his tail and mane. He isn't looking in your direction, but you can tell he's on guard now, ready to fight or run if need be. Stabbing it is going to ruin the meat. You're going to put holes in the meat, or worse, you might puncture an organ like the stomach or intestines, causing stomach acid or feces to contaminate the meat. Mars is sitting on the ground across from you, legs crossed. Focusing on your hands, he nods along. The boar shifts, catching his attention for a moment. It continues eating a plant he's never seen before. It looks like a flower made out of fire. It kind of reminds him of a long-lost friend. Observing the fire boar, multiple ideas on how to capture the boar enter your mind. To help preserve the meat, I think putting it to sleep is the best option. Nodding his head in agreement. Got a plan? Yes. He's on guard right now, but if you teleport to the other side of the clearing, then you can distract it and die. No way, he says while looking off to the side. Okay, well, can you move a stick or rock on the other side then? I can go underground and plant a sleeper bomb beneath the earth. That way the boar will step on it, setting it off. Exactly. We'll have to stand back a bit and wait for the smoke to clear so we don't get affected. Once he's asleep, we can put him in the dimensional box on my phone. Got it. And with that, your plan is set in motion. Saluting Mars, you sink into the ground, moving directly below the fire boar. Following the roots of a fire lily, you gently place the bomb just beneath the surface. Heading back towards Mars, he moves a stick closer to the boar, causing it to flinch and stumble backwards. One of his hooves accidentally steps on the planted sleeper bomb, causing a cloud of smoke to erupt from the ground. A yelp is heard, followed by small bursts of flames penetrating the smoke. Mars wraps an arm around your ribs, ready to pull you to safety at a moment's notice. It doesn't take long for the boar to drowsily stumble out from the smoke, landing on its side with a solid thud before drifting off to sleep. You wait a few minutes to make sure the boar is asleep and for the smoke to clear. You quickly make your way over to it with Mars right behind you, keeping lookout for any predators that might want to steal your prey or nosy skeletons. After making sure the boar is completely asleep, you wave Mars over to tie up the beast. He quickly ties up the boar with your fireproof rope, in a way that won't harm the boar but will keep it incapacitated. Once the boar is tied up, you place it in your phone. Turning to sign excitedly to Mars, he's gazing at the fire lilies. He seems lost in thought, his stare distant and hands tucked in his pockets. Walking over to him, placing your hand on his shoulder, "We can take some with us if you want." Nodding his head, the two start picking fire lilies, putting them into containers to help prevent them from starting unwanted fires. Handing the lilies to Mars, you move to open your bag so you can put them in, only to find that the lilies are gone. Looking at Mars with an aura of confusion, he walks away with a slight chuckle. You have no idea where he put those fire lilies, but you're determined to find out. Rushing to catch up to him, he suddenly stops. Looking at the area behind you, he tenses slightly, releasing a low growl. Shocked, you turn to look behind you as he moves to stand in front of you. Looking in the direction he's staring in, you see the cause of his sudden mood shift. The tall skeleton is back. And he still sucks at stalking. Placing your hands on your hips in annoyance, you decide to check his stats. Papyrus. LV1. HP 1. MP 2. EXP 10. He likes listening to music. 1 HP. Sans. LV1. HP1. MP2. EXP5. Protect. .1 HP. How are they still alive? Grasping Ma's hand, you don't feel any ill intent form this papyrus. Stalker Pap. You can't afford a fight with him right now. You and Mars have never fought together before and you don't know each other fighting styles. Tugging Mars forward, he resists for a moment before following you. As long as Stalker Pap doesn't engage in an encounter, you'll be fine. The two of you walked in tense silence. Mars is becoming twitchier and his smile more unhinged. Pulling Mars to the left, you both duck into a hollowed-out tree trunk. He looks panicked and ready to fight, magic buzzing wildly. Grabbing his face, you force him to look at you. Calm down, I don't feel any ill intent and neither of us are in a position to fight right now. He takes a few calming breaths as he thinks the situation over. Can I convince you to call it a day? No. You say with determination. Unless you feel really uncomfortable about this. You added sheepishly. He looks away in contemplation, before turning back to you with a decisive look. Come on, let's finish your shopping. Pouting playfully, it's questing. The two of you leave the tree trunk and begin walking further in the forest. Mars is a little more relaxed but still on alert. Keeping a keen eye on the Stalker Pap and his location. Stalker Pap teleports from tree to tree, maintaining a consistent distance at all times. The longer you walk the more ill intent you feel from him. It almost feels like jealousy? Maybe possessiveness? You don't have long to ponder as Mars drags you towards a fallen log. Underneath the log is a patch of red spell shrooms. Running forward you drag Mars behind you as you get closer to the mushrooms. The two of you kneel down and you start picking a large amount. Thought you only needed. He trails off as he tries to remember how many you needed. I know I only need 5, but these could be useful one day or I could sell them. Pausing you turn to look at him, your aura brightening with excitement. Or you can sell them. We can start setting you up for being a merchant today. Scratching the back of his skull he glances at the mushroom, don't know, sounds like a lot of work. He says as he flops against the fallen log. It won't be. Just give today a chance and if you enjoy it, you can set up a shop here on the mountain. You suggest with hope. Sighing, fine, it's like being a shopkeeper, right? Packing up the red spells, I guess that's another way of saying it. Did you guys have shopkeepers underground? You ask curiously. Yeah. They mainly sold junk, talked, and let you sell stuff. He explains simply. The two of you leaving the fallen log with a few red spells still hidden underneath. Continuing your exploration, great, that's exactly what we do, except we also trade. You can sell whatever you want, anything that may seem helpful, funny, or even seemingly useless thing. He hums along showing that he's paying attention. So I could sell this. He waves a stick at you with a cheeky grin on his. Ha. 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 But yes, you can. Seriously? You'll be surprised at what mystics will buy. Sometimes, the most random objects can be useful for a quest. You can sell or trade, food, clothes, potion, anything really, and someone will buy it. Plus, you have an advantage being a monster. You have access to mystic, monster, and human things. I'm sure monster items will be in high demand since it's only been a couple of months since the emergence. He doesn't comment for a while, jacket stuffed with red spells and his stick. He looks around the area for anything that catches his eye. What about money? Common currencies are rubies, emeralds, gold, silver, sand dollars, pearls, and human money. The area you're in typically determines the currency you use. We're more of a trading community, so the exchange rate is usually 1-to-1, unlike with human money that varies in value. Convenient. He mumbles under his breath, moving off to collect some random crystals floating in the sky. Glancing in his direction, Mars is collecting air crystals. Your bones rattle gently with laughter as he collects things he doesn't know anything about. You'll have to teach him how to collect mystic items safely, so he doesn't touch something poisonous or dangerous. Observing the RU, you can't feel Stalapap's magic anywhere. Scanning the area for his soul and using your necklace to search for his magic signature, your shoulders sag, relieved he's no longer in the area. Mars comes back looking more relaxed, with a somewhat smug expression on his face. Watching as he approaches, you notice that you can't see the red spell, stick, or air crystal in his jacket. Just where is he putting it? What? He asks with a knowing grin. Playfully pushing his shoulder, you continue on with your walk through the forest. It takes a while of walking, but you manage to find a lot of items on your list as well as a few extras. You're surprised by how quickly Mars has been able to find and gather items for his shops. The two of you manage to find pepper bombs, compass rocks, and tree crystalline. Well, you also found some mimic flowers. They're tiny little flowers with adorable faces on their disc florets. They speak in soft melodic voices, repeating anything they hear. And Mars killed it. As soon as the flower spoke, a bone was lodged through its head. You don't think you've ever seen him that angry before. When you tried to pick some for yourself, he stopped you. He looked angry yet concerned, like he wasn't seeing the mimic flowers but something else. You decided to leave it alone for now. It wasn't long until your list was almost complete. Gravity Mushroom 01. Antidote Mushroom 2 halves. Tree Shroom 3/3. Trampoline Mushroom 4/4. Red Spells Shroom 5/5. _ Flash Seeds X1 pouch. Flower Cups X10. Bath Bombs X50. Rubies X200. There's just one more item to find. As you're looking at the list, you and Mars stop at the opening of a small cave. Somehow, the gravity in the area didn't feel right and you could feel a lot of magical energy coming from the inside. Putting your list away, you walk closer to the cave entrance, Mars reluctantly following you. Peering into the cave, the walls are a dark grayish-blue with light blue sparkles sprinkled throughout the cave. The ground is a similar color to the walls, only slightly lighter, but it's sand instead of solid stone. The ceiling is littered in stalactites while the floor only has a few stalagmites. However, in the center of the cave is a thick stalagmite acting as a podium for the glowing mushroom on top. The Gravity Mushroom. It's a cyan mushroom with a dark blue cap and cyan spots. It's floating over the stalagmite with tiny blue rocks hovering in a circle around it. Scanning the area around it, there's nothing else in the cave. Nothing but the sense of dread. You're brought out by thoughts by Mars walking towards the mushroom. Mars. Stop. Yelling telepathically, temporarily forgetting he doesn't have telepathy. The cave starts to shake, and you quickly enter the cave before the entrance behind you collapses. Looking at Mars, he looks shocked and confused, quickly replaced with fear and detachment. You're not sure what's going on, but it's the same look he had when he saw younger Jupiter. Running towards him, to warn him for what's about to happen before it appears. The ground quacks under your feet, before a small hill starts to form in between you and Mars. Jumping back to distance yourself, it slowly rises from the depth, releasing thundering roar that shakes the cave. It's here. The mid-boss. Pulling both you and Mars into an encounter, your stats being visible to your upper left. YN. LV10. HP 500. MP1. The mid-boss is a stone golem about as tall as house. His states showing above his head to be stone golem. LV5. HP 225. MP1. Comforted slightly, this mid-boss is for beginners. It might have more health than both you and Mars combined, but the situation is manageable. Just got to find the weak points and not get hit. The golem turns away from you, facing Mars, who is currently on the ground. hand in his right eye socket as he stares up at the golem, body shaking violently. Oh no, he's having an episode. The golem swings his fist down, ready to crush Mars beneath the weight. Shink. The golem stumbles slightly, stopping his attack on Mars. There is a gash on its back from where you threw your chakram. The magic infused within it brings it back to you. Catching it on your ring finger, you continue swirling it. Now you have the golem's attention. It charges at you, ready to punch. Standing your ground, you lock eyes with it as it approaches. The good thing about golems, they're slow. Entering the ground right as it punches the spot you once stood. Using your magic, you shoot out of the ground, throwing 2 chakrams at. One hitting it in its side and the other on its arm. Despite adding 2 new gashes to its body, his HP is barely dropping. Stone Golem. LV5. HP 222. MP1. TSK. The golem yells once more before charging towards you once again. At least he's focused on you and not Mars. Catching both chakrams, you run around the outer edge of the cave, taking note on the position of everything. There are 6 stalagmites on the ground. Mars is in a similar position from before, however it doesn't provide him with much protection. The golem may be slow, but it also has longer legs. Diving into the ground, you quickly distance yourself from it before jumping back out and attacking it with both chakrams. The thin metal disc slicing through the air once more. Curving to dodge an outstretched arm, one hit its side while the other his shoulder, causing it to release a howl of pain. The golem stumbles while you grab both chakrams. Jumping backwards to distance yourself, you observe the golem. On his shoulder is a glowing blue stone, much like the stones in the cave wall. There are multiple tiny stones scattered across his body, but only a few larger ones. Those must be its weak spot. Checking its HP. Stone Golem. LV5. HP 198. MP1. Yup, definitely a weak spot. The golem soon recovers and charges at you once more, this time slightly faster than before. Dodging it, you dive underground again. Paying close attention to the vibrations and magic signatures. The golem is following you and you're having trouble outrunning it even underground. Shifting directions on a dime, you turn back before shooting out of the ground directly behind it. You're a bit too close to it, but you can make it work. Leaning back, entering a spinning backflip, you throw the chakrams. Landing hits on the top of his head and his other shoulder. Stone Golem. LV5. HP 150. MP1. Landing in a crouch position, you slide back, kicking up dust. The golem cries out in pain, shaking the cave once more. Catching your weapons, you get ready for his next attack, but he's not after you anymore. In front of the golem is Mars, watching the fight with a shocked and awed expression. His hand is still in his right socket, but you can tell the grip is looser than before. The golem quickly charges Mars and you dash after him. Jumping into a front flip and throw the chakrams and sink into the ground on landing. The golem was in a mid-smash with both arms when the chakrams hit both shoulders, causing them to break and fall. Jumping out of the ground at an angle, you tackle Mar and move him out from under the falling detached arms. A cloud of dust surrounds you both. Sitting up, your legs are straddling his pelvis as you stare down at him. Eyelight blown wide as he stares at you. He flinches as he sees your weapon flying towards you. He's about to tell you to look out, but you nonchalantly grab them without even looking. His soul is thumbing in his chest and he isn't sure if it was from fear. Hands hesitantly travel to your pelvis but fall short as the golem yells. Your gaze leaves his and he tries his best to repress a growl at the action. Placing your hand on his chest, you turn your gaze to the golem, hearing a muffled growl from Mars. You're not sure what the reason for his growl is, but you're happy he's out of his episode. There's a shift in magical energy. The gravity getting slightly lighter until suddenly you're both flipped upside down, falling towards the ceiling with a threat of being impaled by the stalactites. You try to brace yourself for the impact, when you feel magic wrapping around you and pulling you to the cave wall. Landing softly on the wall, you turn to Mars, the two of you nodding in agreement. The golem shifts gravity to the opposite wall. Mars keeps himself in place with his magic but lets you go. Infusing your chakrams with fire magic, you throw them, aiming for the knees. Stone Golem. LV5. HP 6. MP 1. As you're falling, Mars uses his gravity magic to move you out of harm's ways. Just as you touch the wall, the golem turns to attack you. Mars summons multiple bones attack to strike him on his head, dealing enough damage to wipe out the golem's remaining health. Stone Golem. LV5. HP 0. MP 1. The golem crumbles to the ground as his magic dissipates. Falling, you land softly in Mars' arms. Once you register what just happened, you kick your feet in excitement, wrapping your arms around his neck while nuzzling into his jaw. Holding you closer, he presses his forehead to the top of your skull. "I'm sorry. So sorry," he mumbles under his breath, squishing his cheeks to gain his attention. "It's fine. Neither of us knew this was going to happen, and this was your first mid-boss. It's understandable that you froze up." You try to reassure him, but it doesn't look like it's working. "The most important thing is that you came out of it and helped me. We make a pretty good team." Blushing, he gives you small nod. On the other side of the cave, opposite of the entrance, the wall starts moving. A portion of the wall starts to lower, revealing an exit to the cave. "Great, let's go get our prize." You grab his hand and drag him towards the floating gravity mushroom in the center of the room. "We still giving her that?" he asks with a disbelieving tone. "Yeah. I mean, we don't have to, but it's a bit shifty." "Wrong. It's frowned upon. Maybe next time we can be shifty," you explain, bones rattling with a light chuckle. Grabbing the mushroom, you put it in your bag. Gravity mushroom 1/1. Antidote mushroom 2/2. Tree shrimp 3/3. Trampoline mushroom 4/4. Red spells shroom 5/5. Flash seeds X1 pouch. Flower cups X10. Bath bombs X50. Rubies X200. Everything's checked off the list, so all that's left is get out of here and deliver the items. Gesturing to Mars in a shall we motion, the two of you head to the exit. Exiting the room, you remember something and quickly run back in, leaving a confused Mars in the doorway. Bending down, you collect some of the sand in a jar. Smiling as you look at, you quickly stash it in your bag before Mars can see. Leaving the room for real this time, you enter another section of the cave with an open ceiling. The room is circular with a small pond in the middle. The water is a pretty turquoise color that release a light green glow. The two of you approach the pond. Running your fingers in the water, you feel the tingle of magic. It's a rejuvenation pound. You sign in awe. Rejuvenation? Yes, the water helps replenish magic energy. It doesn't heal you or restore physical energy, but it does help with restoring your magical energy and health problems caused by magic instability. You explain while bottling the water into multiple bottles. You can bath in it or drink it to get the desired effect. You add, heavily hinting that he should have some. Picking up on your hint, he drinks from the pound. Green and turquoise magic swirl around him, replenishing his magic and body. That's unusual. Checking his HP. Sans. LV2. HP 1. MP 2. EXP 5. He feels refreshed. Or a brightening. You're happy he's okay and he even leveled up. After the two of you replenished your magic energy, you continued onward. Exiting the cave is a field of nectar cups. A golden yellow flower with an orange sparkle glow. These flowers are one of many varieties of nectar flowers. However, the nectar cups aren't the star of this meadow, no, it's the kaleidoscope of butterflies. Mystic butterflies of all shapes, sizes, and colors are flying about. drinking from the nectar cups. The two of you carefully travel through the meadow, being mindful of the flowers and butterflies. It's uncommon to see this many in one place. They must be migrating or mating. Looking at Mars, his mouth is open, eyelight dilated with a look of wonder. Looking around at all the butterflies, he extends his hands, allowing two to land on his outstretched finger. An excitable grin spreads across his face as he admires the beauty of the butterflies. It isn't long before more and more butterflies are attached to him. Bones rattling loudly with laughter, you catch Mars' attention. He's completely covered in butterflies, leaving only his sockets visible to you. Carefully making your way to him, that's one way to become one with nature. You tease. You're just jealous of a butterfly cocoon? Of course. The two of you share a chuckle before a thought comes to mind. But, you move closer to him. I can't wait for you to emerge. I bet you'll be beautiful. You're rewarded with a deep navy blush, so bright it shines through the wings of the butterflies on his face, creating a beautiful light show of different colors. Yup, you're already pretty. He freezes for a moment before shoving your shoulder and walking away. The motion causing the butterflies to fly away, as he pulls his hood up, trying to hide his flush face. Following him with a gentle rattle, you notice a handful of butterflies following him. He stops suddenly, much to your confusion. Moving to stand beside him, you sign, "What's cutting yourself off?" when you notice a swallowtail butterfly with orangish yellow wings. The butterfly appears to be glowing red, having wings that look like the sun when standing in front of Mars' glowing red eyelight. Beautiful. Taking a photo of Mars, you set it as his profile picture. The action shaking him out of his trance as he shakes his head. The butterfly moving from his eye to the top of his hooded head. "I think it really likes you," you say, reaching a finger out for it to climb onto. "You should try making it your familiar," you suggest, watching it flutters its wings in excitement on your finger. Aura becoming bubbly from the cute action. Now it was Mars' turn to take a picture of you, giving you a knowing smirk. If you had highlights, you'd be rolling them. The three of you make your way back home. Mars hasn't said anything about making the little guy into a familiar, but if it keeps hanging around him, it'll turn into a familiar eventually. The three of you make your way home with Mars, and his butterfly collects some more objects along the way. Today was a good day, everything went well other than the stalking part. Glancing at Mars, he's happily walking with his hands in his pocket as he watches his butterfly fly around excitedly. Your soul is full of happiness. Aura softening, you walk over to him and gently tug on his arm. Kissing him on the cheek, you allow your intent and magic to flow through him, letting him feel your happiness, affection, and love before quickly scurrying away inside the house. A frozen Mars is left outside as he stares at the door you just entered. The butterfly that's been following him is trying its best to hold in the laughter, not wanting to ruin the moment for its new master. Hearing his brother's loud voice from within the house, he comes to, walking towards the house, holding the cheek you kissed with a goofy grin on his face. Hey, today turned out better than he thought.
I'm glad you enjoyed that video/gameplay. Just remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, goodbye!